بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. يقول المصنف رحمه الله تعالى: باب في طاعة الولاة. باب في طاعة الولاة, chapter in the obedience of the leaders and the rulers. قال الفقيه رحمه الله تعالى: فالواجب على الرعية طاعة الوالي ما لم يأمرهم بالمعصية. The obligation on the people to obey the leaders as long as they do not ordain them to do a ma'siyah. A ma'siyah, it is a sin. A ma'siyah is disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as long as they rule in what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, according to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then therefore the obligation is to obey them. ولا يجوز أن يطيعوه when قال فإذا أمرهم بالمعصية فلا يجوز لهم أن يطيعوه. If he ordained them, command them to do wrong, therefore it is forbidden to follow this person or to obey them. ولا يجوز لهم الخروج عليه. In the same time, it is prohibited to rebel against them. إلا أن يظلمهم, except if he oppressed them, transgressed them. فامتنعوا من ظلمه, then they're going to be defending themselves from the transgression of this tyrant ruler. وإنما قلنا أن طاعة الوالي واجبة. So he's saying, why are we saying that the obedience of the leader or the ruler is obligatory? قال لأن الله تعالى قال أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم. Obey Allah and His Messenger and those who managing and taking, overall leading your affairs. أولي الأمر منكم, it has two interpretations. The first are the scholars who guide you to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then al-umara, the leaders who are managing and taking care of the affairs of the Muslim. Now, this need to be understood in a very specific context and cannot be in a way put in the context of today's world because it requires its own studies, it requires more analysis. But we're saying here, we're talking about the context where the hukum, the ruling, the system of the ruling is based on Allah's law subhanahu wa ta'ala, based on the Quran and the Sunnah. So a ruler who will be, going wrong, still the system, the structure is under the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger. Even when it came khulafa in the time of the early generation who were not, right, they were not fair, they were like, in a way tyrant sometimes or overall, but yet the knowledge was always, prospering, developing. The study is in every masjid. The conquest of other lands, the spreading of the deen. So in the structure itself is all developing according to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like you can study it in al-Dawla al-Umayyah, and the same even al-Dawla al-Abbasiyah, which was like in its end very weak, but still that very active in development and prosperity of the social, of the knowledge of sciences, and so on. It was going according to the spirit, Islamic spirit, unlike today. This is to understand it into this context. وروي عن أنس بن مالك عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال اسمعوا وأطيعوا وإن استعمل عليكم عبد حبشي. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, listen and obey, despite, even though the leader will be, or your leader, or the one who's going to be elected to be your leader or appointed to be your leader is an Abyssinian slave. So if even someone is a slave, which is not, and he become your leader, you have to obey him. So regardless on the nature and the status of the person, it's about the position that someone has to obey them. Now, why this obligation in into this obedience? Because the priority is the stability, and the priority is the unity. That's the priority. Here the Prophet ﷺ in this hadith explained, قال عن ابن عباس رضي الله تعالى عنهما عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من رأى من أميره شيئا يكرهه فليصبر. Whoever who sees from his emir, from his leader, from his ruler, something they don't like. And here they don't like, it might be in, conflict of opinion. I'm not talking about something like, conflict with the rules and the fundamental of the deen. We're talking about, things that a person does not like, a policy that is being implemented, they do not like. قال فليصبر, he should be patient. فإنه ليس أحد يفارق الجماعة شبرا. There is no single person who depart from the unity, from the jama'ah, from the community, even a shibr, a span of a hand. قال فيموت, and then he will die. Therefore his death will be a death of jahiliyyah, of ignorance. He's like, he's not part of the Muslims. And this is how important the jama'ah is. So to emphasize on obeying the leader is for the sake, the illah is to maintain the unity, and therefore it depends on the context in which this unity is built, in which, the way how it's ruled, and whatever, and the system they adhere to, the system of the law and the social system, that's how to be regarded, these rules concerning the obedience of the leaders and the umara salatin. فنسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يفقهنا في الدين، ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يثبتنا على الصراط المستقيم. اللهم اهدي ولاة المسلمين، اللهم ارحمنا برحمتك واغفر لنا ذنوبنا أجمعين. اللهم يا رب العالمين ويا أرحم الراحمين، اللهم انصر إخواننا في غزة وفلسطين، اللهم انصرهم بنصرك يا رب العالمين. اللهم اخذل من خذلهم، اللهم ارحمهم برحمتك، اللهم أفرغ عليهم صبرا وانصرهم على المعتدين الظالمين، إنك على كل شيء قدير. ربنا توفنا برحمتك مسلمين، وصل اللهم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.